Hello, and welcome back to another group episode of AZ Unveiled. We still haven't got a title, but I did put it into chat. And I gave you some suggestions, such as AZ Unveiled Show and Tell from Hell, AZ Unveiled The Cursed Book Club, which is kind of fun. It's not a book club, but I like the idea of it. AZ Unveiled Bring Your Own Nightmare, or AZ Unveiled Nightmares with Friends. I'm open to suggestions. But
the nightmares are the ones we made along the way.
I like the book club, personally.
Cursed Book Club?
Feels like the Joy Luck Club. It's like an evil
We didn't like Show and Tell from Hell?
I did like that, but that feels... Well, never mind.
AZ Unveiled Show and Tell from Hell until otherwise noted.
Excellent.
Your show?
Meeting adjourned.
Moving on.
So this week I have an exciting story for you. It is called The Man Who Killed Santa Claus.
What? That's Tim Allen. I know that story. I watched a movie.
Well, this one happened in Mesa. So our story takes place in 1932. Some sources say 1930, but we're either way, early 1930s.
That's why I didn't get any presents from Santa for all my life.
He's
dead.
Maybe it's because you were shit.
No, I believe it's because he was dead.
Maybe both. Two things can be true.
Two things.
Anyway, as you know, much of the world in the 30s was deep within the depths of the Great Depression.
Oh, yes, and depressed. Yeah.
Both of those. Two things. Again, the city of Mesa, in particular, that's where our story takes place. That's what we're talking about. The city of Mesa was concerned about the upcoming Christmas season, particularly about their annual Christmas parade. They were concerned that attendance would be low, because people were poor and stuff.
Sure.
If people didn't show up at the parade, then they weren't going to come to the little shops and buy things.
For your point,
Again,
classic economy.
because poor.
Because poor.
Classic isn't always good.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for your input.
Studio dog farted again.
It is the dog.
Anyway, the leaders of Mesa and the shop owners and stuff were concerned that the parade was going to have a very low turnout and thus no customers. So the editor of the East Mesa Tribune, a man named John McPhee, had an idea to save Christmas.
Oh, everybody's hero.
He thought it would be super cool if at the parade, Santa skydived in from a plane.
In the 30s.
In the 30s.
Wow.
That sounds epic.
Santa would skydive into the field and then meet up with the parade and lead the parade into town.
Lofty goals.
Yeah.
And that would be the big event that drew all the people in.
Now, I have no idea where this story is going, but if that plan were to work, this would be a Christmas miracle indeed.
Indeed.
The idea itself did work in that people loved it. The town leaders loved it. The people loved it. People were stoked about this idea. They advertised everywhere that Santa was going to jump out of a plane and lead the parade.
Not a lot going on in the 30s, so this was big news.
Mesa in the 30s was like...
Yeah, there was like 6 people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And all 6 of them were going to be at this parade.
And there was still Fent. So...
But it was cheaper.
It was cheaper because of the Depression.
Right.
So it was mostly rust and salt.
So anyway, day of the parade comes. And sure enough, the whole town was there. Everybody was really excited. They were pumped to see Santa jump out of this plane. They are like on a field on the outside of town because that's where Santa was going to skydive into. So the whole town was gathered at this field on the outskirts of Mesa, waiting for Santa. What?
The anticipation. They're all there. They're all waiting. People are anxious. People are watching the sky.
And they're all amped up on
They're amped up
fentanyl.
on Depression and Fent and 30s dust.
Could you imagine if this never even happened? Like, they would have been pissed. There would have been riots.
Oh, yeah.
But it did happen. True story. So, they're all watching the skies, right? And the plane finally comes. The plane circles around. And in the doorway of the plane, they see Santa Claus standing there, looking down at them. The kids are excited. Kids are screaming and cheering and waving at Santa, like little kids do. Over simulators. But
All that Fent and sugar.
so they're all staring up at him. Santa leaps from the plane. And everybody cheers. And Santa keeps falling. And Santa continues to fall. And the excitement changes to worry as Santa continues falling and no parachute opens. And then concern turns to horror as Santa plummets and smashes
Down a chimney?
into the field.
Ugh.
They hear the thud of him hitting the ground.
Ooh, I bet he bounced.
The moms scream. The kids are crying. Santa's dead! Santa's dead!
Only in Mesa.
The families, they gather up their children and they're rushing them away because they don't want them to see Santa's dead body in the field because it's traumatizing.
Thank God the suit is red.
And as you can imagine, the parade did not go over well.
Yeah, they gotta walk over a corpse.
There was not a good turnout for the rest of the parade and at the shops and such. So Christmas was not really saved that year. However, that is not the end of the story.
He came back to life with Christmas magic.
The spirit of Christmas.
And a snowman's hat. They put it atop the corpse.
No, it was the carrot.
Oh!
No, it was a
Where
hat.
did they put the cat? Oh.
And Weekend at Bernie's him.
Yes.
So for the rest of the story, we got to go back a
Oh.
little bit, put it in reverse. I think then flip it and reverse it.
Also, side note, real quick, and I apologize. You know what would have been really funny if some of the townspeople were dressed up as elves and they had to go clean up Santa and then put him in a sleigh and then have him take it away.
They all wave as they slide
Somebody dressed
up.
as Mrs. Claus just sobbing.
It's a funeral procession.
Wave his arm!
It's actually a sleigh hearse.
Oh, God.
Anyway, we had to go back.
Yes, so for the rest of the story, we have to go back to just before the plane took off with Santa. So, John McPhee is waiting at the airport for the man.
That was not me, thank you. You're a dog. Oh. I like how I had the image of a dead Santa. Now I have the smell.
It's a very immersive experience.
It is. Much like the tree, they left him out way too long. Ugh, it tasted in my coffee.
You gave her crust. You gave her cheese.
We basically fed her a whole pizza.
Where were we?
Oh, right before he came out of the plane.
Oh, we're back at the airport
Yes.
before they take off.
Oh, wow, we went way back.
So anyway, John McPhee, if you will recall, is the newspaper editor that sent this whole plan in motion, was at the airport waiting for the man that he had hired to skydive as Santa out of this plane because it wasn't really, it wasn't the real Santa. It was a man dressed up as Santa. I know.
Whoa.
Shocking.
Whoa.
I know.
Whoa.
I'm so sorry. They couldn't afford real Santa to make a cameo. Are you kidding?
What crunchy?
So, John McPhee was at the airport waiting for the man that he hired to be Santa and jump out of the plane.
Mm-hmm.
And he's waiting, and he's waiting. And Santa doesn't show. So, they start getting,
It's just like childhood.
I told you to stop being a shitty kid.
Right.
So, McPhee gets stressed out because he's got all these people waiting. He needs a Santa to jump out of the plane.
Understandably.
Him and the other leaders of town start frantically searching around town for this man. And eventually, they find him at the bar.
What? In Mesa, in the 30s, in a depression, in that economy.
Aurora Borealis. At this time of year, at this time of day, in this part of the country, localized entirely within your kitchen. Yes.
Anyway, drunk in the bar.
Yes, he found this man at the bar because he was nervous about having to jump out of the plane, so he thought he'd go have a drink,
Understandable. I would do the same.
His nerves, makes sense, right? If he went to go get him, he found him and he was relieved. He's like, thank God. So he gets this man, he grabs him and helps to pull him off the stool, except then he falls. This man is too drunk to stand,
Oh my.
let alone, jump out of a plane.
Nose as red as Rudolph's.
Indeed. McPhee is like, fuck. Because again, all the people, the kids, waiting. He had this whole idea riding on Santa, jumping out of the plane to save Christmas and the parade and all that. So he had to make it work. So he had to think fast. And he had an idea. He went to a nearby department store and grabbed a mannequin, dressed it up as Santa. He was going to put the mannequin in the plane, and the pilot would shove it out, pull the ripcord as he shoved the mannequin out so that he would still skydive and float down. Santa Claus would float down from the plane and land in the field. And then in the field, McPhee would switch places with him. McPhee dressed up as Santa Claus so that he could switch places
Diabolical.
with the mannequin and run out and go, yay, Santa, and then lead the parade into town.
Perfect.
But, as we know, the parachute never opened. So, mannequin Santa plummeted to the ground, to the horror of all the people watching who did not know it was a mannequin. So McPhee saw this happen, but he thought, if I can jump out there as Santa quickly enough, I can tell everybody I got saved by the magic of Christmas. Santa is still alive. It's okay. Everything's fine. We can still have the parade and carry on as planned. But by the time that McPhee ran out there, everybody had run off in horror. So there was nobody there to see that Santa was still okay.
Wow.
So John McPhee earned the name The Man Who Killed Santa. And that name would follow him. He left town for a little bit, trying to wait for the heat to die down.
I would imagine.
Hoped that people would have moved on. That's old news. A lot happens in Mesa, so...
Right?
In the 30s. Somebody stole somebody's burro, probably. Anyway, so he came back, and it did not go away. People still called him the man that killed Santa.
And this is before social media.
I know.
Yeah.
That's rough. Good memory, too.
And eventually, John McPhee, he continued to work for the newspaper and move around in different editors, magazines, whatnot, but eventually he moved to Telluride. And in Telluride, he and his wife started the Telluride Tribune, a newspaper up there, and it was very successful. And eventually, he became mayor of Telluride. And then finally, at the age of 66, he passed away. And Telluride wrote him a lovely story in the newspaper about all of his accomplishments and all the things that he had done, all of the papers and magazines he'd been the editor of and brought life to, the events, etc., etc. Wrote him a really lovely obituary. But Arizona wrote an article titled, "The Man Who Killed Santa Dies at 66." So it followed him literally to his death.
We are sometimes a petty people, and we have a long memory.
Yeah. So that's
Wow.
the story of the man who killed Santa.
I truly thought somebody was actually going to die. I mean, somebody actually did at the age of 66.
Yeah,
True.
but of I think of a heart attack or something like that.
Was he jumping
Some sort of coronary event. No.
They found
He died
mistletoe
he died
in
at
his
home.
throat.
This is for Santa.
Was stabbed 88 times with a candy cane.
You killed our boss. Take that.
I am the leprechaun. Wrong! Elf.
Wrong holiday.
That's wild. Let me see if I can find newspaper clippings of this.
You can.
Mm.
I have them. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the story this week.
That's pretty entertaining.
I did.
I thought it was fun, and for once, nobody actually died. A bunch of kids that get traumatized. So there's that.
That doesn't count.
There is that.
That's less fun.
That may explain why some boomers are traumatized. You know,
Mm.
their parents.
I think that's the
Santa Claus
silent
died.
generation, though.
Now we know why they're silent. I had to watch Father Christmas get pushed.
But anyway, if you have any ideas, a first story you want to hear about, leave it in the comments. Be sure to subscribe, share all those buttons down there. That's always good.
Press all the buttons.
We'll talk about more well-known, mythical, and realistic
Or less
figures
well-known.
getting murdered.
Because hopefully people didn't know that story.
I definitely didn't.
I didn't
about
know.
that. So
I knew of the Santa Claus, but I had not heard of how he passed.
Well, you knew how he didn't come to visit you, apparently.
Correct.
Maybe he got his comeuppance, I don't know.
maybe.
Maybe.
Known or unknown, hopefully you enjoyed this episode.
Also, I gotta show off my jacket here that I made.
Oh, yeah. Stand up, show off that thing.
Okay, alright.
She made this with her own little hands.
Yeah.
In a sweatshop in the backyard.
With the elves of Santa.
Oh yeah, the
Right?
Christmas elves made it. Oh,
Yeah,
I feel like
and then ice came and took them away.
vote in the midterms. Anyway, oh, cute little logo right there.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
big logo on the back.
Giant one on the back. Yeah,
Also, it's very soft and cozy. I made
it
sure.
is. I will say, she had me feel it out back. It's very, very soft. Even a person such as myself would enjoy the material.
I have many sensory issues with all of my neurodivergencies, as you may know. Yeah, thanks so much for joining us here on, what did we decide? Show and Tell from Hell?
Creepy book stories. Or something like that.
Show and tell from hell. Yes.
Show and tell
Until
from hell.
further notice. It'll probably be something different in the future. Thanks so much. Yeah, that's Russell. That's Timko. I'm Emily, and this is AZ Unveiled. Oh, as the shirt says.
We'll see you.
Where the desert gets dark.